Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Hennefarth, and I'm making this video to help those of you that have been absent. I know I have a couple of you that have been absent this week, and it's really important for you not to fall behind. So let me go ahead and start with homework. So you received this homework packet, and I had indicated on the homework packet the things that were really important for you to cover. So on this first page, you're going to see that I've got circled a whole bunch of things here, and then I've got 8, 9, 10, and 11 circled. And then on the back page, I told you to do 12, 13, 14, and 15. So those are still going to be important to do. I also want to make note real quick that I now have said that this is due on Thursday. So not Tuesday, as I had originally said, but Thursday. So today during class, I had everybody pull this out, and I said, see this green sheet, this 7-2 lesson puzzle time. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. It's optional. So I'm going to write optional on here. And then the only other thing that we covered today, and I'm sorry that you missed class, is we covered how to multiply binomials. So I suggested that all of these problems get done as part of homework, as well as this back page. And then I had indicated the other day that you should have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 17, and 18. These again were spiral review, finding the sum and the difference of polynomials, and then looking at our factor or our multiplying binomials. I strongly suggest that you continue to get more practice, and you would multiply 1, 2, 3, and then any of these problems on the back page using any method that you want to, area model or FOIL. So again, these types of problems are critical for understanding. So that's homework, and I'll be collecting that on Thursday. What else did you miss today and yesterday in class? Well, if you weren't here yesterday we just reviewed at the whiteboard. And why did we review? Because you have got a quiz that you were taking on section 7-1. And this is the quiz that everybody did today. And basically the quiz is asking you, if I were to look back at the homework, it's asking you to find the degree of a monomial. So if you can do that, as well as to take a polynomial right there and write it in standard form, give me the degree, and give me the classification. That was also on the quiz. What else was on the quiz? Adding polynomials and then subtracting a polynomial. Okay, so those were the things that were on the quiz. And then there's one additional problem that asked you to find the perimeter of a shape, and I want to note that the perimeter, as I'm just going to draw a real quick picture here, if I had a rectangle and I knew that this was 3, and I know that that's 3, and this is 5, and this is 5, I know that if I was asked to find the perimeter, I would simply add up the distance all the way around my rectangle. So on the quiz, you're being asked to find the perimeter of a shape and to write it in standard form. And that shape, just to give you a heads up, is a trapezoid, and the trapezoid has got variables around the sides. So I'm hoping you're able to find the perimeter of that shape. So that's the quiz that you missed, so you'll need to make sure that you get that covered. And then today's lesson was on the following: multiplying binomials. And I showed 2 methods today. The first method that I'm going to show you is the area model, or it's also called the box method. And basically, I am asking you to draw a rectangle. So I'm going to do that up here. And that rectangle, obviously, we're going to find the area. So how do I find the area? I find the base times the height, and I multiply those together. Base times height gives me the area inside. Well, what we're going to do is actually take my rectangle, and I'm going to cut that rectangle up into 4 pieces. I call that a window pane, and I'm going to find the area of each rectangle within the large rectangle and then add them all up. So why do I do that? I do that in order to be able to multiply my binomials. So let's get started. So I have 2 factors, x plus 2 and x plus 5, and I'm going to multiply those using an area model or box. So the very first thing I do is I draw a box. So when I draw the box, I'm going to make 4 boxes within the large box. And now I need to label the outside. So the way I label mine is I always put the base on the bottom and the height on the left-hand side. You may want to do the base on the bottom and do the numbers on the right-hand side. I've actually seen where you do the numbers up here times this. It doesn't matter. Find what's going to work best for you. So what I do is I label this is my base and this is my height. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write my base right here as follows. X plus 2. Noticing that I'm going to put the x in that rectangle and the 2 plus 2 at the bottom of this rectangle. And I'm going to use these as my side lengths. Why do I need that? Because remember, I need to get the area inside. So now I've got to label the outside. I'm going to go x plus 5. And now what do? I know that I was told that I'm going to find the area of each rectangle within this big rectangle. So how do I do that? I'm going to multiply the base times the height. And what is the height of this side right here is x. X times x is x squared. Please remember that when I multiply exponents or multiply 2 variables, they've got an exponent of 1. And remember, when I multiply, I'm simply adding the exponents. So 1 plus 1 is 2. Now I'm going to find the area of this rectangle. How do I do that? I'm going to multiply the base of x times the height of 5, and I get 5x. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same. I've got the base of 2, and I'm going to multiply that by the height of x, and I get 2x. And now I'm going to follow and go 2 times 5 and get the area of that rectangle, which is 10. So now, what do I need to do? I need to figure out what is the total area by adding everything up together. Well, what does that mean? It means I'm simply going to add up all of my terms inside my large rectangle. So I'm going to start with x squared, because I always write things in standard order. So I'm going to go x squared, and I'm going to add plus 5x. I'm going to add 10, and I'm going to add 2x. And so you're probably going, but Mrs. Hannah-Farth, why couldn't I have just added 5 and 2 together? Absolutely, but I'm just showing you step by step. So now I'm going to combine like terms. What does that mean? That means I am going to find all the terms that are the same, meaning I have 1x squared, so I'm going to write x squared. So then what else do I have? I have x values right here. I have 5x, and I'm going to add 2 more x, so I got 7x. And then what's my last? I've got my lone number of 10, so I'm going to write plus 10. So I have just multiplied these 2 binomials, I multiplied these 2 binomials, and I got a solution here. So x plus 2 times x plus 5 is equal to x squared plus 7x plus 10. Okay, so now that you've seen this setup, I'm going to go ahead and work through B and C just to give you some additional practice. So Again, I'm going to draw a rectangle. In fact, I kind of joked today in class that you're going to get so good at drawing rectangles with window panes inside, and you're going to be tired of doing it. So how do I label the outside? I'm going to go x plus 3 times x minus 4. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find the area inside each rectangle. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And then what does all of that equal? And that equals x squared minus 4x minus 12 and plus 3x. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine all my terms together. I've got a lone x squared, and I've got negative 4x, and I've got plus 3x. Well, negative 4x plus 3x is minus x. And I've got my lone 12 right there, so minus 12. So that is my multiplying of my binomials. X plus 3, x minus 4 is equal to x squared minus x minus 12. This last one I'll do a little bit faster in that I won't write everything out, but I'll do the same methodology, meaning I'm going to actually show you how I just combine in my head. So again, I'm going to go ahead and draw my rectangle. I'm going to draw my boxes in my rectangle. I'm going to label the outside of 2x minus 3. And I'm going to put x plus 5. And now I'm going to simply multiply. Look what I'm multiplying this time. X times 2x. Remember, they've got an exponent of 1 on each one, so 1 plus 1 is 2. So I'm going to go 2x squared. Now I'm going to multiply 2x times 5, which is 10x. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to multiply negative 3 times x, which is minus 3x. And I'm going to multiply negative 3 times positive 5, and that's negative 15. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all of that up inside, starting with 2x squared. So I'm going to go 2x squared. And I'm going to take 10x and I'm going to subtract 3x, which leaves me with 7x. And then I have minus 15. So this is equal, so 2x minus 3 times x plus 5 is equal to 2x squared plus 7x minus 15. So that is using an area model or box. Again, like I said, on this homework sheet, you're going to want to do lots of practice. How do I get lots of practice in? Look at all of these binomials that you can multiply using the same method. And again, use the area model. Use the area model. That's the box method. So again, using this as a reference and how to set them up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly look at the back page of this worksheet, and I am going to come down here, and I'm actually going to show you how to multiply this one. So this one, we're going to set up the exact same way. I'm not going to do anything different at all. I'm going to draw a rectangle. And this time, what do you notice about the base? The base is going to have 3 terms in it. So that means I'm going to cut the base up into 3. And what am I going to put down there? I'm going to put 2p squared, positive p, so plus p, and minus 3. Okay, so I took care of the base. So now look at the side length. I've got 3p minus 1. I'm going to blow that up just a little bit. So take a look. I have 3p. I've got to draw my rectangle, my window pane, and minus 1. So now, what do I have to do? I'm going to do the exact same thing that I've been doing. I'm going to multiply the base times the height of each rectangle. So 2p squared times 3p. Remember, there is an exponent of 1 on the p, so I'm going to add the exponents. So I'm going to go 3 times 2 is 6, and 6p to the power of 3. Now I'm going to multiply 2p squared times negative 1, which is negative 2p squared. Now I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to multiply p times 3p, which is 3p squared. P times negative 1 is negative 1p, or you could have simply wrote negative p. And I'm going to come down here, I'm going to go negative 3 times 3p is negative 9p. And then negative 3 times negative 1 is plus 3. So now I've got to add up everything that's inside. So I'm just going to write all the terms down and then combine. So I'm going to go 6p to the power of 3 minus 2p squared plus 3p squared minus 1p plus 3 minus 9p. Okay, so now I'm looking for everything that's the same. Well, I only have one p cubed, and I've got 6 of them, so I'm going to go 6p cubed. Right, took care of that one. Now I'm going to look for p squareds. I have negative 2p squared, and I'm adding 3p squared, which gives me plus 1p squared. Okay, what else do I have? I have what else? I've got a negative 1p, and I've got negative 9p. If I put all those together, I have negative 10p. And then what else do I have? I simply have my number plus 3. So I have combined everything, added up everything in the window pane, and lo and behold, I've got one solution. So all I did was I took my base and I multiplied it by my height, and you can try this right here, okay? And the same thing up here. We have lots of them. All right, so that's multiplying using a box method. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you using FOIL. So take a look right here. Here's the FOIL method. We've got FOIL means first, outer, inner, and last. So we typically write F-O-I-L to just reference people to help. So let's do this in this first box right here. And I'm going to take you step by step. F-O-I-L. So I'm going to multiply the first terms. So what are my first terms? X and X. They are the first terms in each of my terms, or my binomial. So I'm going to go X times X. And what is X times X? That's equal to X squared. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my outer terms. So what are my outer terms? The outer terms are my X and my negative 6. So I'm going to multiply X times negative 6. And X times negative 6 is negative 6X. So those are the outer terms. So now I'm going to go internally, and I'm going to do the inner terms. What are the inner terms? Negative 3 and X. So I'm going to multiply negative 3 times X. And when I do that, I get negative 3X. And what are my last terms? Well, my last terms are negative 3 and negative 6 right there. So negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. So now what do? I'm going to add all those up. So I'm going to add x squared minus 6x minus 3x plus 18. I'm going to go ahead and simplify. So when I simplify, I get x squared minus 9x plus 18. And that is using the FOIL method. So typically, I highly encourage, if you're going to use the FOIL method and you've never used the FOIL method before, is to write out FOIL. And then eventually, we want to get you to the point of simply using rainbows. It's kind of using the distributive method. So what does my rainbow look like? My first terms, and then my outer terms right there. Then I go inner, so first, outer, so first, outer, and then my inner, right here, that's my I. And what are my last? My last term is the 1 and the negative 5. That's my L. So, therefore, I can, if I can, keep track of my first terms. What do? 2x times negative 5 is negative 10. Oh my goodness, Mrs. Hannaford, those are not my first terms. Here are my first terms. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Sorry about that. So now I'm going to, I even actually labeled these wrong. Oh my goodness. These are my first terms. These are my outer terms. So let's try that again. First terms are 2x times 3x, 6x squared. My last terms are 2x times negative, or my outer terms are 2x times negative 5, which negative 10x. Then what? I'm going to go in for the I, the inner. Positive 1 times 3x is positive 3x. And then my last terms are positive 1 times negative 5, which is negative 5. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually combine like terms. Well, I know that 6x squared is by itself, so I don't combine it with anything else. So I've got 6x squared. And then what else? I've got negative 10x, and I'm going to add 3x to that, which gives me negative 7x. And then I have minus 5. Okay, so lots of information here, right, in this video. What did we do? We used an area model, and we did 3 examples using an area model. And then I came on the next page and I used the FOIL method. So the FOIL method, you notice that I used the acronym of FOIL. So in using that, I identified the first term, the outer term, the inner terms, and the last terms. And I wrote it all out, and then I added down. Then what I did was I shortcutted it a little bit to show you, and please note, not everybody is ready for this. Maybe you are. I do not encourage this method unless you are completely confident and know how to keep track of what you've done. Using a rainbow is really, really nice. So, what did I multiply first? I multiplied my first terms, 2x and 3x. Those are my first terms of my binomial. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Then I went to the outer terms. Outer terms of what? The outer term of each binomial, which is 2x and negative 5, which gave me negative 10x. Then I went inner, 1 times 3x, and then last, 1 times negative 5. Combine like terms. I'll do one more using FOIL. And what I'll do is that I'll show it using the rainbow method to help solidify it further. And I'll also well, I'll do this one using FOIL and D using just the rainbow method. So let's write FOIL. And again, being competent and proficient in this will be important. Which one am I going to insist that you use? I don't care. If you want to use the FOIL method, use the FOIL method. If you want to use the box method, use the box method. It doesn't matter which one. Be comfortable using one of them. All right, so what are my first terms? X times X. Right there. X times X, which is equal to X squared. What are my outer terms? X and negative 7. So X times negative 7. So X times negative 7 is negative 7X. What are my next? What's my inner terms? 3 and X. So 3 times X, which is equal to 3X. And what are my last terms? 3 and negative 7. And 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. I'm going to add all those down. And what do I get? X squared minus 7X plus 3X minus 21. Therefore, I have X squared minus 4X minus 21. There you go. All right, now for D, I'll simply do it using the rainbow method. So I'm going to go 2X times 5X is 10X squared. 2X times negative 4 is negative 8X. I'm going to go inside. Negative 1 times 5X is negative 5X. And then my last terms are negative 1 and negative 4 is plus 4. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. 10X squared. Negative 8X minus 5X is negative 13X. And then just plus 4. So, there are my answers. How could I get more work? Take a look. We have lots on this sheet that can help you. So, we have, you can do all of these. You can do the back side of the green sheet. You can do as many. Try both methods, FOIL and box. Just do one. Do whatever you're comfortable doing, but get lots of practice. Why do I say lots of practice? Because on Friday, you are having a test. What is the test on? The test is going to be on 7-1, which is multiplying or adding, subtracting polynomials, through 7-3. 7-3 is just multiplying polynomials. Okay? So that's what we're doing on Friday. And on Thursday, we are having a team test. So hopefully this has helped and get you up to speed. And I look forward to seeing all of you back in school, hopefully on Thursday, feeling better.